Hello, 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 and welcome back to another Andrew Bortz'z Career Mode on Expert and Caterham commentary. I am Matt Ruda, aka @AgentMolder5 on Twitter, and I am the only one here. That's right, I have decided in my infinite wisdom to do a solo commentary of a race, simply because we've been falling behind a little bit, and I figure get as much content out as possible. There's only one problem. I have had quite the amount of wine. I am not completely sober right now. This is going to be interesting as we see the qualifying results of the qualifying, as it were. Vettel, Weber, Maldonado, or Grosjean, Maldonado, Hamilton, Alonso, Button, and Rosberg, Massa. Ricciardo doing well, Schumacher not so much, Raikkonen, Verne, Senna useless, Hulkenberg, DeResta, Kobayashi, no Kamui, Perez, Bortz'z boy qualifying 19th ahead of his teammate, and then I think the Marussias and HRTs. 11% chance of rain. I did happen to see that. I doubt any rain's going to come into this race, although I said that at the beginning of Spa, and we all know how that ended. Spoiler, spoiler. We are now looking at Bortz'z setup, seeing how he does his magical thing. I think I say that like almost every commentary I've noticed. Huh. Really weird toe settings too, I've noticed. I don't know what that's all about. Unless I continue to drink more wine, that's probably a mistake. Looking at his race strategy here, going for a two-stop race. Starting out on the prime tires. It's his choice, of course, because he qualified only in 19th. Looking like he's going to try to take those primes just short of midway through the race, and then go for two option stints. Being cautious on the fuel strategy, that's kind of ironic. There we go. Wow, good timing there, Bortz'z boy. But we've seen in the past couple races, he seems to have gotten a decent handle on his fuel strategy, not running himself out like he did. And right as I said he was going to take those primes halfway through, he knocks it back a few. So I don't quite know what he's doing. I think he thinks that the options are going to last him longer than he originally, or the game thought rather. But we shall see how that ends up. Usually when he stretches it like that, we end up getting punctures, as we see. Two sets of prime tires. One of them is pretty damn well used. I think that was probably used in practice to ascertain just how far he could take the primes before he got a considerable drop in pace. Alright, now he's looking like he's going to start on the options. So, I don't quite know if I agree with that. Simply because I would rather start on the harder tire, being as far back as he is. Let the field get spread out a little bit, and then work his way up the field. On a normal fuel strategy, he'll hit that fuel crossover point, and then go on to the option tires. That's what I would do, at least. But then again, I'm not Bortz'z. I'm not as good as Bortz'z. And he, maybe he knows something I don't. I haven't seen. I didn't catch the condition of all of his option tires, so. Maybe he used it in practice and figured out it can last a lot longer. As we're doing the head bob thing, unfortunately though, Valentine is not here to enjoy it. It looks like that little thrusting there is just for you. So Val, if you're watching this video, this one's for you, baby. That's some good ass wine. As we see Button, and then Bortz'z, and then Kovalainen. Head of the Marussias and presumably the HRTs. Oh my God!
We're below where we wanted to be on the grid, so try your best to make up a few places in the race.
Yeah, try to make up a few places. Target's only one place ahead of him. We already got 5 red lights. Bortz'z low on the revs, low on the getaway, but critically, no wheel spin like he did before. Gets past Perez. DeResta right off the line. Holy shit! Looking like we're going to take Senna on the outside too, and Verne possibly. Senna getting a little feisty there. Bortz'z breaking early to make sure that he doesn't get pinched off by the Brazilian. A little bit of understeer there, but is he going to make it stick on the Williams? Oh my God, that's a Red Bull spun. Schumacher got hung up by that. Bortz'z get past the other Brazilian, and it looks like they're fighting and dicing. Oh my God, Perez, Verne already passed them. Kobayashi passed them. Looking like he's going to try to take Senna on the outside. Makes it work. Now we're going to target Ricciardo. Is he going to do a banzai? Not quite. Takes it very, very cautiously. He's already made up a bunch of places. He doesn't need to put his car off or damage it with an over-eager move down Ricciardo's inside as he flicks it back to standard. And that was one hell of an opening. I'm impressed I was able to do that in the state that I'm in right now, but it's life, I guess. You work with what you got. Whoa! It takes a lot of extra curb on that exit. Barely gets away with it. Almost hits the gravel coming out of the second Lesma. As we see Senna making a move on the outside. But, oh, wait, hang on. Oh! Bortz'z taps Senna into a spin. Locks the brakes. Somebody goes up Bortz'z' ass. Bortz'z has a penalty. I don't know if that's quite deserved. Schumacher takes evasive action outside. Bortz'z flicks it down to lean. I don't quite know if I would give him a penalty for that. It's the first lap of the race. Everyone within close quarters. Bortz'z was right alongside Senna, it has to be said. It wasn't like he was down his car, you know, only a quarter of the way up his car. I think that's a Masters of Code move right there. Now Bortz'z is going to trundle around. Or no, he's not. He's flicked it up to Rich. He's going to go. Trying to make up some ground before he serves his penalty. It looks like someone's pit for damage. I heard some contact back there, and catching Kovalainen, who's behind De La Rosa somehow, so the Spaniard doing well to move himself up in the world. Probably benefiting from the Bortz'z clusterfuck that was Ascari. Looking like Bortz'z is going to try and take Kovalainen on the outside of... Damn, I can't remember the name of that corner. Nor can I remember the name of this corner, to be honest. Which is weird, because this is one of those tracks that I usually know the names of all the corners. But c'est la vie, I guess. Or it's going to take 15th away easily from De La Rosa in the moving chicane that is the HRT. It's sad that I can't make any relevant real HRT jokes because they don't exist anymore, but at the same time, you know, their presence is not missed. Yeah, they were just making up the numbers in the end. Bortz'z is getting a reminder for the penalty. Told to serve it within 2 more laps. I don't know when his in-lap's going to be for this, to be honest. It's a matter of when's the best gap going to form. Pretty soon, if he keeps up the pace, he's going to be catching the back of DeResta. If he keeps this pace up. Might as well take the loss, cut your losses now. Feed himself back in between that trailing pack and the, what I think is really the back marker pack. I think the guys in the far back, in that little, I would call it third pack, I guess, are cars that were involved in the cluster that was Ascari. So it looks like Mass is getting a bit feisty with the rest of their boards. Completely fucks up the corner, misses his braking point, has to take a little bit of action across the chicane. But no harm, no foul. Nothing really to worry him or anyone else at this point. Felipe, baby, not having the best of races, it has to be said. Although we're only on lap 3. Wow. 0.666 seconds behind Massa. I always knew Bortz'z was the devil, but never quite had the proof. There you go. Taking a little bit easier there, not going completely balls to the wall. Although we do get DRS on Massa. This is going to help. Bortz'z is keeping pretty steady with the Ferrari, has to be said. A lot of understeer going into Ascari though in the first part. Has to turn the wheel way further to the left than normal. Schumacher catching Bortz'z at a nice rate of knots, it seems. And somebody else has separated themselves from the back marker pack. Looks like Kovalainen got past De La Rosa, I think? Not quite sure. Vettel setting the fastest lap, so whether he's in clear air and was the one that spun, or that was Webber that spun, I don't know. It was Webber that spun, as we can see he's behind Bortz'z now, so Webber's the one who detached himself. It looks like Kovalainen and De La Rosa are having themselves a nice little battle there. And then that puts Bortz'z out in between those two, and wait, yeah, them and the Sauber and Perez. Ooh. Bortz'z is going to get Perez, or is he going to overshoot his braking? Nope, Bortz'z got it. He's sparking a little bit there on the edge of the. Damn it! What is that corner? Crap! I almost said Portier, but that's wrong track. I think. Yeah, no, that's the wrong track. God, why can't I remember the name of these corners? Blame it on the alcohol. Anywho. Sorry. That was not appealing in the slightest. I apologize. Be careful not to take Kiki out, so the engineer has absolutely no faith in Bortz'z' ability whatsoever. As it looks like Perez is having a look on the outside there. Perez, of course, being helped with DRS, as is Bortz'z on Kovalainen. Has a run on him, but does not make a dive on the inside. Doesn't want a repeat of the penalty situation with Senna. Although, as I said before, it has to be said he was defending, and I think entitled to hold his position. Senna being the Gurke that he was back in 20. Holy shit! What just happened there with Kovalainen? Kovalainen just went flying on Bortz'z outside. That was weird. That was really weird, actually. Never seen that before from an unmodded AI. Bortz'z now catching Charles Pic, overtaking Charles Pic. Wow. I don't know if Pic has a problem or if Bortz'z just had a really, really, really good corner there. Sorry, still choking. I know. Insert rude joke here. I can't remember the name of this one either. I know this is Lesbos 1 coming up, Lesbos 2, then Ascara, then Parabolica. I just can't remember the rest. Sad, sad times. Well, whatever happened to Kovalainen, it wasn't terminal because Heikki's still in the race. Still have 24 cars in the field. No one got terminally damaged from the crash in Ascara. Nobody got terminally damaged from the action in the first corner of the race. It's not getting as much understeer there. Maybe he just braked too late going in. I thought he was having some understeer problems on his car. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. It is a Caterham after all. Vettel setting fastest time, I think. I didn't quite catch that. Clouds looking like they're playing nice, so I don't foresee rain this race. Beautiful blue sky going into the corner number uno. Bortz'z setting a 129.9. That's respectable for Caterham. Not really closing on the pack in front of him, but not really getting caught by Perez behind. It has to be said. Understeer going into corner number uno again. That was due to a missed braking point. Very hard corner to get right. You brake just a millimeter too late, and you're going to find yourself trying to hop the curb and enduring Codemaster's trademark bullshit warning system, or their magical slowdown sections, which for whatever reason they decided to include in this game. I don't know. So, well, we have a bit of a lull in the action here on lap 6. I guess it's only proper that I apologize for not having a backmarkers F1 cast out to you guys. Life, it's been hectic. Shit got crazy, and we just haven't gotten around to it. Especially with trying to synchronize time zones, across 3 distinct regions of the world: Germany, Moscow, Russia, and the United States. It's a pain to find a time where everybody has a couple hours to devote to talking bullshit about Formula One. We see Kimi setting the fastest lap, typical Iceman, going all banzai, crazy, awesome. Kimi, I love you, have my children. What? But yeah, I apologize for not getting cast out. Thoughts on the Canadian Grand Prix, which is, as of recording time, the most recent Grand Prix. I thought it sucked, and not just because Kimi had a bad race or because of anything that really happened in the race. I just thought it was a boring Grand Prix. We had some action in the midfield. We had, oh damn, what's the guy's name? Vandergaard being an utter gurke. We had, of course, the tragic death of a race steward at the hands of a retarded crane driver. Rest in peace, man. Thanks for your contributions to the racing world. Without you, we wouldn't go racing, and all the other traditional sentiments that go along with that. But the race was boring. I thought it was the worst Grand Prix of the year so far, which is strange. Because Canada's usually a good one. I was hoping for rain. I think rain could have done wonders for the race. And of course, it's automatically got docked points in my book because Vettel just stormed away with it. With the Red Bull looking like it's finally found its vein of dominance that it will carry through the rest of the year and see Sebastian Vettel crowned champion. I was basically saying that Vettel is an asshole and he's going to be champion again because the Red Bull's invincible. Or has found that point in the season where it's about to become invincible. So I don't expect any sort of change for the British Grand Prix. Sadly. I think that this race basically sealed it for Vettel. Canada, that is. Kimi no longer is going to have a chance unless Lotus finds some money. Ferrari aren't going to have a chance unless Alonso finds a vein of luck. And McLaren are laughable. So they're your typical front runners out of the contention. They're never going to let Webber win a championship, so it's Vettel all the way. And Webber actually hasn't been doing that great, it has to be said. Respectable positions, but compared to Sebastian, a completely different league. Nothing like 2010. Pirelli are a fucking joke. Whatever else you have to say. Oh, Mercedes Tribunal coming soon. I hope, as much as I like Hamilton, and I think Rosberg's a pretty cool guy, I gotta say, I think that they deserve and should get a World Constructors' Championship disqualification. Test is complete bullshit. Yeah. That's me pretty much out of things to talk about, so I'm gonna be struggling for the next 44 laps, unless Bortz'z goes on ahead to catch this back in front of him, in which case things are gonna get rather interesting rather quickly. You see tire wear, not that big of a factor. Bortz'z keeping them nice, fresh, and healthy. I has to take these laps 17, I believe it was, when he was planning on a switch to primes. But then again, with Bortz'z, he might do some crazy shit and try for a one-stop. You never know. Perez was catching him for a while there. I don't know if he still is. I'll have to wait to see the gap. I don't know if he's going to be within the DRS zone or not. Passing under the beautiful, beautiful oval section of the track. Perez seems like he caught him 2/10 in that one lap, and then that's pretty much stayed stationary since. Bortz'z 4.333 to the cars in front. Gonna have to make a mark of that. See if he's still closing the gap or if I'm just imagining things. He had set a purple sector in the lap before my YouTube player crashed, so I don't know if he's... No, he hasn't, because Kimi was in the 27s. I wonder where Kimi is on the track. Of course, it would be too hard to, you know, show us all the positions or something in a replay system that works. Bortz'z... Whoa! Okay, he is definitely catching those guys in front. It looks like he took 2 seconds out of them in this lap alone. I wonder if there's somebody, whoever's at the tip of this little train, is pulling and truling and just holding everybody up. Let's see, or maybe it's just that Bortz'z is really strong in that section of the track. No, he's definitely on the charge, and I was almost right. 2.8 seconds now behind Mark Webber. Pulled a nice little gap to Perez. Got another half second almost on him in that first sector. Entering the second one. And it looks like Perez might have closed by a tenth or two, but definitely did not make back everything that Bortz'z gained. Vettel now setting the fastest lap with a 1:27.8. Perez did indeed gain a tenth on Bortz'z, but not enough pace, I think, to challenge him for P17. But Bortz'z pretty soon might be challenging for P16. If he closes in this first sector again like he did last lap, he will be in DRS time. DRS happy fun time, exiting the second Lisma. Let's see. Engineer thinks Webber's going to come in the next few laps. If Bortz'z pit now, it would put him out somewhere in 19th, 20th range. Which would be Kovalainen in the crew. Yep. I don't know what it is about this first sector. Maybe the AI just brake way too hard for the first corner, but Bortz'z is catching them like mad going into after the straight. Let's see what Bortz'z could do. Definitely setting fast his first sectors. Say go for the overtake on Weber, and looks like Felipe's ahead of Mark. We'll have to see. Maybe there's one of the lower end cars up, and that's why they're all braking so early. I'd much rather be able to see the gap to the last car in the chain ahead of this pack, if that makes any sense, to kind of get a measure on if he's actually catching the field or if it's just a slow pack. Looks like there's a Sauber ahead of Mark and Felipe, so that would be Kobayashi by process of elimination. You don't have to be an engineer to know that. And who's leading, I wonder? Who is leading this pack? Really can't catch. Except Force India. I wonder.
You're within 1 second of the car ahead. Get ready.
That's that glass of wine finished. So I can only get more sober from here. Or it's banging the limiter. Goes down the outside of Weber, the outside of Massa, the outside of Kobayashi, and overshoots the corner. He's going to have to let Vern locks up. I don't know why he's doing that. Lets Perez pass. I don't know why he did that. All he'd have to do was slow down a bit and maybe let Vern through if it was deemed an illegal overtake. It's the one thing Codemasters got right about the penalty system in this game. He gives you time to give the position back. But Bortz'z losing everything he gained on that last first sector dive. Could add a couple positions there. But to be fair, I mean, what do you do when there are 4 cars in a chain? You're not going to be able to blow by all of them in the braking sector. You're going to have to battle one of them, and when that happens, you tend to overshoot. I wonder what Bortz'z is going to do about this. I wonder if he'll take his stop early, scheduled for lap 18. I wonder if he'll just take his stop early for primes and try to stretch him that little bit longer, and just leapfrog him in the pits that way. Because now with 5 cars in front of them all chained up, the undercut's really going to be the only feasible way to safely pass the ball. Yeah, you could try a bonsai, but the chance of him either hitting somebody or fucking up his braking is quite high. And with Vern up in front of them, I could see why they'd have to brake early. The Toro Rosso, not exactly the strongest car in 2012. Not exactly the strongest car around Monza, it has to be said, except in 2008 in the pouring rain when Sebastian Vettel took his first victory. I think, isn't that so far? Yeah, that's Toro Rosso's only victory so far. Especially since they've been off the Red Bull teat since FIA said they had to build their own car. What was that? 2011 they said that. Bortz'z is now catching again. He's caught him in a different sector this time. He might have a chance at Weber going into Ascari, but then the problem is that puts him right behind Perez. Oh, Perez has jumped Weber. Wow. Sergio's on a charge, mimicking his 2012 performance quite nicely, but quite a significant amount of positions further back than he was in 2012. Raikkonen once again setting the fastest time. Vettel and Raikkonen seem to be going back and forth on who's fastest. It's funny considering Kimi did not qualify well at all. I would say maybe he got held up by traffic, but all these AI qualifying times are predetermined and simulated. It's not exactly based on how the car goes around the track. It's just an algorithm. Or like a random, you know what I mean. A theoretical lap time, not an actual lap time. Which is crap, but then again, Masters as we're catching Weber. We got Weber on the inside, and we got Massa. That's a bit messy. But critically past 1 car. So now it's just 4 in a train. In the slipstream of Felipe, baby. Might be able to get him going into whatever. You have to leave it a space, Felipe. As we got, oh wow, Massa with the late braking, or Bortz'z with the really early braking. I don't know which. Felipe, what the hell is he doing there? Brake testing Bortz'z. That can't make him happy. Going into Lesbo 1. I mean, Bortz'z definitely has the grip. He should be able to get by Felipe before Ascari.
Go for the overtake.
I know those two things together made no sense in that they're not really connected that much. What am I saying? I don't know what I'm saying right now. Felipe taking a defensive line going into Ascari, even though Bortz'z is a while back. Weber now all over his ass as Bortz'z hits that curves and flies past Felipe, baby. So now it's just Perez, Kobayashi, neck and neck, and then Vern with a little bit of a gap. Bortz'z taking an odd line going through Parabolica. Lap 15. Bortz'z is in P16, but his rival is only going backwards. He was P5 and then P7 the last couple times I've looked for him, and he's now in P10. Bortz'z once again catching the back of this pack. Kobayashi's been overtaken by Perez. Sergio is charging through. Is Kamui driving Le Mans? Makes me wonder, because I know he's on the Scuderia Ferrari payroll now. Seeing him in front of the Ferrari F1 car was sexy. I don't know if he's driving in Le Mans for the GT team. I need to look at the list. I think the ACO has it up online somewhere. Too lazy to check right now, though. We'll test the DRS on Kamui. Let's see what he can do. Not going to be able to do it here in Ascari. Way too far back. Ooh. That I thought was going to go over. As we have a slow car. Karthikeyan being a gurky. Holy shit. Well, because Narain was at a massive gurky and being lapped like an idiot, Bortz'z was able to get past both Kamui Kobayashi and Narain Karthikeyan in one corner. That was very good for Andrew. As we now see Perez ahead of Vern. And Vern is going to lose to Bortz'z pretty soon because Andrew has the DRS and he is going to pop it like now. Poppy, here comes Bortz'z. Takes us inside. I'm going to stop doing that before I offend too many people. And does not mess up his braking sector. Gets it right. And continues on his merry way. So, it looks like, if I'm not mistaken, that Bortz'z, Perez are catching another pack of cars. This is a lap car in there somewhere. I see the little blue outline. I think that's going to be De La Rosa. Yes, it is. So after a good opening, the HRT's fallen back into its customary position. Oh, last and second to last. Perez is streaming away from Bortz'z. I don't quite know how Bortz'z was able to keep a gap to Perez if Perez is this much faster than Andrew. Maybe they run different fuel settings, I don't quite know. Perez is now gapping Bortz'z by the same exact margin as Bortz'z was gapping Perez rather, earlier on in this race. Bit more cloud cover popping up. Perez is now running full revs. I don't know what Bortz'z is running. It seems like cars are starting to come in now for their scheduled stop. Bortz'z having some neck issues there. Puts Bortz'z up to P12. Felipe up to P13. We have a car coming out of the pits. Bortz'z has a run. It's Glock. Should be getting the blue flags. Get out of the way, Timo, whose name I forgot for a second there. It looks like Perez is getting held up by somebody. Is that for position, I wonder? Is that one of the leaders who came out of the pits and is now holding Perez up? Now let's see. That would be a Force India. Which one? I don't know. I would think it would be Hulkenberg. But I'm not quite sure. I almost said Sewell there for a second. I have 2013's driver lineup in my head. I gotta remember that this is based off of 2012. That's one mod I wouldn't mind Andrew putting in, is just a driver name change. If nothing else, then it would line up with the fact that we're in 2013 now. The other one would be that advanced AI mod that makes them make mistakes and crash and defend positions and overtake and do all kinds of stuff. Okay, I was wrong. It was Aresta, P11. Bortz'z seems to have the measure of him, and we have a spinner. Hulkenberg! Oh my god, how did Bortz'z escape that? Holy shit on a stick. Bortz'z got lucky as hell there not to lose his front wing. Now, I was talking about the Hulk, and there he was. Bortz'z passes him, Duressa goes in the pits, and we pass a Lotus. I don't know which one, Grosjean, according to the timing, but I don't trust that because it tends to be wrong at times. As we caught Duressa up by quite a margin after his little moment. Blue flag's out for, I think, somebody behind Bortz'z. I don't see anyone ahead of Duressa immediately. Duressa and somebody else are catching Kovalainen. And I'm assuming the car ahead of Kovalainen is... Actually, I don't know. I can't assume anybody. Senna, maybe? Senna got spun by Bortz'z. I don't think he incurred any damage. So I would assume he would have gone by. I should probably stop assuming. I don't know anything. Bortz'z is being called into the pits this lap, but he still has pace on these tires. Still setting personal best sectors. I'm wondering if he's going to try to extend this and maybe go for a one-stop. The fact that he had a set of hard tires at 60-something% indicates to me that he was attempting to see how long he could take the tires, as I stated before. So maybe he knows a one-stop's possible, but not ideal. But I mean, in this situation after the penalty, he's made up quite a bit of ground, and he'd rather not feed into a mix of lapped and unlapped traffic. Things always get dicey there, and you never know when you could lose a front wing. Is that a Williams ahead? No, this Kovalainen. Excuse me. Kovalainen gives way to Duressa and then his teammate Bortz'z. And the race continues. And other than that, it's pretty much as you were. Bortz'z taking it at least one lap later. Still setting personal fastest times. Gets a little bit of gravel there, but that's not uncommon. It's just a little bit of an annoyance going into this Lesma with the reduced grip. Bortz'z taking it a bit gentle. And by the second Lesma, it's worn off enough that you can pretty much take your normal line. The Bortz'z takes quite a bit of extra curve there. A bit worrisome, but has it all under control, it would seem. Call into the pits this lap. Takes a line. See, that's the line that I take. It almost gets turned around there in the exit of the Scari. He was taking a much different line before, but I take a lot of the corner when I cut a lot of the corner rather when I'm racing this track. You can get away with it. You can hop pretty much the first part of the Scari and just straight line it. I don't quite know how you can get away with that with the penalty system being what it is, but you can. And so I exploit it as far as I can. Schumacher now with the fastest lap of the race, 127.1. I'm wondering if it's just alternating between Vettel because he's the leader and then whoever has cleaner air. And it would seem like Raikkonen and Schumacher are the ones that are able to find it on a regular basis. Raikkonen more so than Schumacher. That's the first time I've seen his name pop up. I wonder where Kimi is. Didn't see him fly by on the timing boards when we were passing the pit cars. Grosjean was what? Oh, Grosjean's P9. After starting P3, I think. So he's gone backwards in a hurry. Better than going into a wall in a hurry. Really excited for Lotus's 2014 lineup. Even if they lose the Kimster, it's pretty much guaranteed they're going to lose Grosjean at this point. Because Boulier has given him pretty much the ultimatum, and he is going to screw up again. It's an inevitability. Death, taxes, and Grosjean crashing into someone are the three things you can be certain of in life. Especially if you're... Oh, I was about to go political there. Oh, what the hell, I'm drunk. Especially if you're living in the U.S. under this current administration. Then you get taxed in the ass. Yes, I went there. Sue me. I'd rather don't. I'd rather not have to fight more litigative battles. Although, I did get my ticket reduced, which is nice. Go me. I'm sexy and I know it. What did I just say? My god. This is going downhill in a hurry. Oh my lord. This is what happens when I don't have someone to feed off of. And nothing is going on. It's awkward. You know, all by myself here. Talking to you people. You lovely people who are watching this commentary. Thank you for your continued interest in the bullshit we have to say. Yeah. Now I'm getting all sentimental. It's weird. I should go for more wine, but I'd rather not overdo it tonight. We're still setting fastest first sectors, second sectors, sectors all around. Despite the left front being pretty decently worn, it has to be said. It gets a lot of abuse considering there's, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 distinct right-hand events in this course. But Bortz'z is still making them work, extending these tires as long as he can. And if we go on by the traditional assessment that prime tires can last somewhere between 1.5 to 2 times longer than the option, he would be closing in on the lower end, the conservative end, rather, of the, or rather, excuse me, not the conservative end, the, I guess you'd call it the liberal end of a one-stop strategy. He's taken about 5 more laps before it could work if it's only, if you consider the primes to be twice as durable. And it's clouding up. I wonder, could we see a few spits of rain? If we do, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Again, it was only an 11% chance of rain according to the computer. It's not totally accurate all the time, but yeah. Even the best forecasters in F1 can't get it right, so I'm willing to not blame Codemasters for that. Remember the infamous 2012 race at Monaco where everyone kept saying rain in 5 more minutes. Pretty much the latter half of the race. Grosjean trying to close the gap. Scarier words have never been spoken. Push, baby, push. Come on, Bortz'z boy. Run now while you still can. Got an angry Frenchman up your arse in 5 seconds time.
Try and close the gap to the car ahead. It's currently 2 seconds.
Such an awkward corner, that one. The right-hand bit of the chicane. That sausage curve there. I'd much rather that sausage not be there. Oh my. That sounded wrong. That's also what she said. But the one that lies perpendicular the direction of motion, it's really weird. I would much rather see that turn into a secondary curve that goes along the path, basically. Sort of like what they have in India. Give you a little bit more cutting room and a little bit of a more natural line through that complex. I guess it's a relic from a different era, but or maybe it's not. I don't keep up with all the minutiae of track changes, and it's really getting cloudy. Okay, I'm really starting to wonder, could we see rain? If we do, that's gonna ruin Bortz'z little one-stop strategy, because he's not gonna get the best out of the prime tire. That's assuming, though, that this weather continues to degrade at the current rate that it's going. Maybe it'll just get cloudy and stop. In that case, we'll be fine. As the Gurke Kothakain is up ahead of us again in P24. Nobody has dropped out of this race so far. The rest is staying ahead of Bortz'z. Not flying away from him, it has to be said, but just gently pulling a gap. Grosjean is now behind Caterham. And he's not really catching Bortz'z at an amazing rate, it also has to be said. I think... Oh, God. It has to be said is like my phrase of the race. I seem to have those, you know, just little phrases that I, for whatever reason, feel intent on repeating throughout a commentary. The other thing to mention is with Bortz'z' 1-1 wing setup, while it won't be ideal for rain driving, at least it's an even mix, or an even distribution of downforce. So he won't be completely slippy-slidey, I hope, I pray. Bortz'z coming in on lap 25 for the prime tires. So he's going to try and take these primes, I would assume, more than halfway through the race. I can't see him coming back in again. And those times out on the option tires have given Bortz'z P11. Wow. Gets himself out ahead of this chasing pack. Maybe, just maybe, is he going to be able to hold them? I don't know with him overshooting there over the sausage. Hits the other sausage. He's hitting all the sausages. Bortz'z is enjoying the sausage fest as Perez is now up to P11. Sergio has continued his charge up the field. Light rain in 15 minutes. Well, shit. Things just got very, very interesting. If that time frame is exact, then that means about another 20 minutes before we have to switch to inners. Shit. That's going to be tight. Much longer, and we're going to put it right at the end of the race where it's a matter of, do you want to take the... What is Alonso doing at P12? Wow. Fernando has fallen way back. Whether or not that's a different strategy or he got held up by something. Perez has passed Alonso. But he's wishing that he was... Well, the Sauber's not that great this year either, but I'd say at this rate it's preferable to a McLaren. Sergio doing a decent job. Sorry for the continued lawning. Yeah, sorry for the continued lawning, but it is late at night. Or late at night, I should say. Bortz'z doing his typical first sector dash. Alonso seemed to get a little bit out of shape there. But yeah, what I was saying was this much later on the race, or on the rain rather, if it takes like, you know, say 20 minutes to get there, then we're looking at right at the very last couple laps of the race where we're going to reach that inner window. And then it's a matter of, do you take the risk and try to stay out on slicks and hope that the cars on inters don't make up the 20 or so, probably more like 15, 16 seconds of mono pit stops, that window. We saw that happen in Brazil 08 when Hamilton won the championship. Timo Glock trying to stay out on the dry tires. They weren't really slicks back then because God only knows why they decided to tread the tires. They said it was for aero reasons or so that they couldn't pull so many G's, but why not? I say why not? I think F1's been a bit too sanitized as of the last couple of years, but that's just my opinion. Some people, Valentine, would disagree with it, and yeah, that's life. See Webber now on the charge. The Red Bull finding a vein of top speed that it never really seems to demonstrate in real F1. Gonna hold Bortz'z off going into the first one. But whoa, but Webber gets a little bit out of shape there with a little bit of wheel spin. That lets Bortz'z on through. Alonso's still at P12, that means that whoever's here is a lapped car. I think it's Della Rosso. Skies are darkening up. And no, it's Caterham again. Oh yeah, that's because Bortz'z pit. Oops. Looks like Webber and Caterham had a little bit of a nice lovin'. I don't know if Webber's passed him or not yet. So this sets Bortz'z up nicely though. If Rain is able to, let me start that sentence again. if the rain holds off and Bortz'z is able to keep these tires alive, he might be able to get a points finish here, considering the fact that everyone else has to make another stop. It's hard to talk when you're drunk. I can't really make cohesive sentences without, like, really having to stop and think about what the hell I'm saying. God, I love this wine. We're going to try again. Not anywhere near as close to Bortz'z as he was previous lap. Bortz'z, I can't tell. I'm going to have to look at the gaps and watch that if he's catching Alonso in this first sector like he was catching that one pack. Vettel continues to improve on his fastest times, 1:26.2 now. That makes me assume that he's come in, when he came in for his first stop, he put on another set of options. I can't see him setting times like that on primes, even though he's in a Red Bull.
Watch out for the car chasing you. He's less than a second behind and will use DRS to overtake.
Bortz'z being warned that Webber has DRS. Webber going to try. Holy shit, not even going to try. Rain in 10 minutes. So, yeah, this might be, oh, it depends, though. That rain actually might come right about when the option runners come in for their set of primes. Anybody who came in and pit for a second set of options is going to be coming in for primes right about when the rain starts. And with Bortz'z on the primes, he's going to be able to continue that right into the interstint if an inter tire is needed. So Bortz'z, as he takes Webber on the inside, whoa, nicely done, Bortz'z boy. Webber, one of those guys I'm talking about on the option plan. So if inter tires are needed, if the rain isn't extremely light, and it does soak up the track a little bit, the track soaks it up a little bit, we might see Bortz'z doing some crazy position gaining. So there's still a Ross ahead of him, getting the blue flags and moving out of the way. Much more sensibly than the rain, it has to be said. On the 29th lap of this Grand Prix. His best time so far has been a 1:28, pretty much dead. It's 2 seconds, just under 2 seconds actually, slower than the leader of Vettel. And I wonder if Kimi has found some traffic because his name has stopped popping up on the fastest time alert. That or he came in for primes and might be in the same position as Bortz'z to benefit from this upcoming rain. Bortz'z 6 seconds behind Alonso. 1.7 ahead of Webber. 1.7 ahead of Webber. That seems like a lot. Weird. I thought Webber was much closer than that, but I can't be trusted. It's saying Bortz'z scheduled stop is on lap 35, but that would be almost no time for those tires whatsoever. Bortz'z still 6 seconds behind Alonso. So whoever this is a lapped car. I saw red, so my guess is going to be Lux Russia.
Just put in an amazing lap, the new fastest lap for the race.
Schumacher is now the fastest car on the track. Means that the time difference between the fastest lap and Bortz's fastest lap is near enough as makes no difference to 2 seconds. Bortz's really isn't catching this car in front of him at that high of a pace. Whoa! Is that Webber? How the hell did he close 1.7 seconds that fast? Okay.
You're losing a little bit of
Mark found a real vein of speed there. Side by side with Bortz'z. Is Bortz'z going to try a move on the outside, or is he going to try to make it sick? Really has to, because Weber breaks a little bit early. But Bortz'z has sealed the position. Weber took the line. He had the line. He had the track. Gets in more wheel spin. Bortz'z going to take him back on the outside. Vettel now in the 125s. Sebastian laying down the gauntlet. Throwing it down, rather. He ain't even laying it down. He's just throwing that shit out there. The fact that he set the fastest lap then makes me think that he's catching these guys. He's going to be lapping them soon. Charles P20 gets out of the way. That would mean that 21 was in the pits somewhere when 122 as well. And Bortz'z. Oh, no, Andrew! Andrew spins it coming out of the Lesma. Whoa, and then almost spins it again with the wheel spin. Not that much damage to the front wing. He's still okay, he can still go. Vettel has lapped him and is now set his sights on lapping his teammate Weber. And pretty soon, the Red Bull radio will be filled with messages of bend over, Marky Mark. The little German boys coming to rape your ass. Although speaking of asses, Bortz'z is staying right on Vettel's. Vettel is not streaming away from him as one would expect. Bortz'z is gonna come in now? What? He really didn't have that much damage. Huh. Interesting thought process here. Wow. I don't quite know why he did that. Going out on a set of option tires. Obviously, this isn't going to take him to the end of the race, but Bortz'z is banking on this rain coming. And banking on the engineer not having just made a false call. If he did, Bortz'z is completely and utterly screwed. But it looks pretty dark. It looks like rain's on its way. Kamui should be coming in the next 4 laps. Bortz'z is done. Light rain 5 minutes, so crunch time. What's gonna happen? Is this gonna have to... Actually, no, it looks like this guy's getting a bit bluer. That's weird. How are we gonna see rain? Even if we do, are we gonna see enough rain to warrant the switch tires? If that's the case, Bortz'z might have screwed himself there going on the set of options. Has to get 21 more laps. Although, that was his opening stint, more or less. So they can make it, especially with his car now being lighter on fuel. He definitely can make it. And you know what? His pace never really fell off. So you know what? I spoke too soon. He might not have screwed himself. As blue skies are definitely returning to Italy, or Monza at least. So I think that it's not gonna rain. After all that excitement and tension, the rain might not be coming. Bortz'z is now on the back of Hulkenberg, who hasn't had the greatest race, it has to be said, spinning out in Parabolica and among other things. Bortz'z is gonna go around the outside of him. He's on the hard tires, so that pass is pretty much inevitable, but Bortz'z decides to make it happen then. That's the curve I was talking about there, the one Bortz'z just clipped. I don't understand why that's there. I mean, he had to prevent cars from cutting the track, but I mean, that's a really flagrant place to cut the track. I mean, I don't see why nobody's going to be tempted to do that unless they're trying to evade. Give them a little more room to maneuver and make the line a little more natural instead of having to... it's just a weird corner. That'll make it a lot more flowing if it were up to me. But it's not. And now Weber's in P16, so after all that, after the extra pit stop, Mark Webber is still right in touch with Bortz'z. Or Bortz'z is still right in touch with Webber. However you want to look at it. Skies have cleared up, definitely. Rain has to not be on the way anymore. Or if it is, there's just going to be a little sprinkle somewhere. So the question becomes, Bortz'z catches Stillaros, who'll be getting the blue flags. The question becomes, does Bortz'z try and take it easy and nurse the tires for a last second dash? Or does he just completely and utterly abuse them, hoping that the fuel depletion will aid in tire degradation and keep him
Watch out for the car behind. He's
in
only
touching
2 seconds
distance with
down
these
on you.
people?
He might try and overtake if you make a mistake.
I don't know what to say. Empty track ahead, empty track behind, and a ways to go. Lap 34. Through Ascari. Run into Parabolica. So there's a lap car ahead of Bortz'z, I think. Although, to be honest, I don't know where Sebastian is in this, so that might be a car being lapped by Seb, who is still within positional range of Bortz'z. Bortz'z sets a personal best time, 1:27.6. I think Vettel's time's still the fastest in the high 125s. There's Weber, and there's, I think, was that Sebastian? Or is that one of the Toro Rosses? It looked like one of the RBR family cars. But of course, Toro Rosso looks very, very similar. Lord only knows why. Or it's now setting the fastest first sector of anybody. Back to that form again. And with everyone else going out on the prime tires, Bortz'z might start to take... Oh, there's a little bit of rain. A little bit of rain there in the Lesmas. While the rest of the track is bone dry. So, Bortz'z might have to take those corners a little bit more carefully for a few laps, but I can't see that rain staying around for long. Even if it does, 2 turns, it does not switch tires warm.
It's starting to rain. It's just light at the moment, but if it worsens, we'll need to switch to inters or wet.
I don't think we're going to have to switch to inners even. As whoever this is, Bortz'z has caught him massively. It ain't Weber. It's Charles P. Okay. I don't know how I got Red Bull / Toro Rosso and Marussia confused, but there you go. I still think that the car ahead of Weber is Seb. But then again, that doesn't correspond to a 7-second gap. The current gap between Bortz'z and the car in front. So maybe it's the other way around. Maybe somehow Weber is ahead of Vel. In which case, it's just an unlapping attempt by Bortz'z. It's just clear Vettel before he can go after the real prize of Weber. Looks like the rain's already moved on there. A little further up the track in the straight. Looks like the tiniest, lightest bit of rain in the Ascari, but nothing to get overly concerned about. 5 seconds to Hulkenberg. But what is this fuel setting, engineer? We need to know. Actually, it's exactly 5 seconds. Pretty cool. Now, what happens with the rest of this race? Is this just a cruise to the flag? Not quite. As Bortz'z passes somebody in the pits. Judging from where that car came in and stopped, I think that's Vettel, as we see some light rain heading into this corner. The first corner. Oh shit, that is not a corner you want to have light rain on. Or have a mixed track on. I mean, the Lesmas you can kind of deal with because it's after a chicane, you're not going as fast, but if the track is dry enough to warrant slicks, except for the first corner, you're asking for it because you can completely blow the whole thing. Let's go sliding on past. if the runoff area actually functioned like runoff area. Actually, there's some more rain in the Lesbos now. If the runoff area actually functioned like real runoff area to where, you know, you didn't get magically slowed down going through it, it might be okay, but Codemasters haven't figured that out yet. And if you use the runoff area as it's intended for, you know, an emergency, you'll still get a penalty. Again, see previous comment. Set for a pretty dull race to the finish. I don't think anything much more is going to happen. Bortz'z moves up to 15th place as Vern and Weber pit. And who is this ahead? Oh no, Vern and someone else pit. Weber's still ahead of Bortz'z, I'm sorry. Incorrect information there. Incorrect assumption. That pretty much, oh no, it hasn't. It's actually filled out by a second. Bortz'z now trailing Weber by 7 seconds instead of 6. So these cars up ahead are going to be lap ones. Bortz'z is second down on his previous lap time in that sector. I don't see anything particularly messy. Maybe it's just the rain getting to the cars a little bit. See Glock there getting lapped as expected. Still 24 cars. Oh, whoa, whoa, Felipe, baby. This is a battle for position right here. Alright, we might have some on-track action after all. Felipe baby's now in Bortz'z clutches. Going through whatever. You've already set the starting to rain engineer as Bortz'z is going to try along the outside of Felipe. Is he going to be able to cut inside? Yes, he is. Gets Felipe going into that chicane. First chicane. Second chicane, rather, of the lap. Takes the Lesmas, holds the position plainly. That's Bortz'z up to P14. Whoa, it is getting wet in Lesma 2. Definitely water going up on the track there. Not enough around the rest of the lap yet to warrant a switch. But definitely something to keep an eye out for. If it gets much wetter than this, he's going to have to change tires. Right now it's on that cusp. It's not wet enough yet. Section of the track like this one is just dry. Cars are still going around it at full speed, keeping a line nice and dry until the rain gets heavier. Almost looks like Bortz'z is starting to form a trolley train behind him. However, don't know which of the cars in there are lap traffic and which are not. Weber has really put foot to floor and is now almost 10 seconds ahead of Bortz'z. 13 laps to go. Optimal fuel settings now. Bortz'z is a lap down, so he can afford to keep this on rich for a while longer. But he has it on normal. So I guess it really doesn't matter what he can do with Rich if he's not on Rich. Bit of oversteer there. Not quite willing to say that that's rain-based yet. It looked like Bortz'z topped the curve and just got a little bit out of shape. Not much understeer going into Lesma 1. Lesma 2 looks a little bit drier this lap than it did on the previous one. So we might still be okay for a full race of slick tires. Seconds ahead of Massa. 10 seconds behind Weber. think that we're nearing the end of the pit windows. The normal pit windows, rather. Can't foresee anybody else trying to make a pit stop at this point unless you have some sort of damage or something. Normal time to come in. All the AI seem to be coming in around lap 16 when we're out in auction tires, so it's definitely outside of the normal. Also outside of the normal is Massa catching somebody, catching Bortz'z at this point. Now 1.5 seconds behind, now 1.3 seconds behind, I think. So that right? Now 1 second exactly. Felipe is definitely catching Bortz'z. I don't know if there is a second DRS detection zone on this track in this game. If so, Felipe's going to get it. If not, lucky Bortz'z. He's made back a second to Weber. Let's see what he does across the line. Weber makes it back again. Felipe now 3 tenths behind Andrew. And catching at a fast rate of knots, but backs out of it quite early. Not trying anything too bonsai. Around the track we go again. For 11 laps. I am completely worn out at this point. Struggling to find things to talk about. Bortz'z setting the fastest first sector of all. Something that we've regularly seen throughout the race. Bortz'z is extremely fast at that one. But then these more downforce heavy sectors, especially in Ascari, he loses time to the rest of the field.
Our data's showing that the car ahead is likely to be running in fuel conservation mode. His times will be slightly slower than normal.
Whoa! Shit! What just happened there? Karthikeyan, Inagoke, and Bortz'z almost crashes, well, does crash into Massa a little bit. Gets by Massa and Perez. I'm going to be honest, I had looked down to grab something off the floor there, and I looked back up and Bortz'z is going off the track. That was weird. I missed it. That's rather unfortunate. Well, it's really not unfortunate because that puts Bortz'z up to P13. Can Bortz'z still get a point? That's the next big question. But since he's scored quite a few points, actually, it has to be said, it's just a token position, as are the next two. It's the third one up the road that he really wants. Problem with Kurz, that's not going to do any good for Bortz'z. Not going to get that 6 point whatever the hell seconds of boost. It's a 6.3, 6.4, something like that? I don't know. As Felipe wastes no time in jumping past Andrew. DRS open. Forms a nice gap. Bortz'z taking a line very similar to me. I take even more curb on the right-hander there. And now on this straight, without the DRS, Bortz'z is going to catch Massa in his slipstream. How's the look on the outside? Is he going to try that on Parabolica? No. Is he going to try the inside on Parabolica? No. Alright, and now we'll see if there's a second detection zone. If there is, Bortz'z is in it. If not, he's screwed.
The car ahead is holding you up. We need to pass. You're currently faster in sector 1.
There is a second detection zone. Well, good for Bortz'z. Bortz'z is on the limiter. He's reeling in Massa a little bit. Not going to be able to get him. Has to brake and ensure that he doesn't go flying up. Both him and Massa get wheel spin going out of the first corner, so no bold moves around the outside coming into this corner. 9 laps to go. Bortz'z sets the fastest first sector of all. And Felipe baby! completely misses everything, really. Completely cuts that corner there, then comes back on the track, and then misses the track, and then spins all the way across the other side. I don't know what happened there. That was really odd. Okay, like missing the braking sector and cutting across, yeah, I can see that, whatever, but then coming across and spinning, that was the weird part. It's up to P13. Wait, not up to, who was in P13? Oh yeah, that's right, because Felipe, yeah, sorry. Again, blame the wine. Or it's looking like he might set his fastest lap. No. Never mind. I lied. Always losing time in those last two sectors. That's where he's losing it. And I think that's more the car than him. He's pushing to the limit. It just can't go any faster. First sector is the strength. Bortz'z continues on with Vern now behind him by some distance, but still behind him. Bortz'z getting a little bit of a lock going on there. Nothing too dramatic. Holds on to it nicely. Oh, that's not held on as nicely. Gets quite a bit of gravel on his tires there coming out of the second Lisma. Thankfully, though, there's a long straight between him and Ascari to help clean that tire off. Alonso now sets the fastest time of the race in the low 25s. Bortz'z, even with his trip off the track, is only a second down on his fastest sector, or his last lap's second sector. LLSS. I just invented a new F1 acronym. LLFS, LLSS, LLTS. I'll start using those.
You're developing quite a lead over Byrne. You're pulling out a whole second a lap on him.
Second a lap on Vern, but not gaining a second a lap on Weber. That would be nice. Still no curves for Andrew. Team's still got its one curves engineer, or rather it's one engineer period, knowing Caterham, on fixing the curve system. Should have it back within the next couple laps, I'd reckon. Better get on it because the race is winding down quickly with only 7 laps to go. Hulkenberg overtook Vern somewhere along there. So now it's Hulkenberg in P14, trailing Bortz'z by about 11 seconds. Alonso continues his improvement, going about a tenth faster than his last lap.
You have a 10-second lead over the car behind.
Has to back out of it there a little bit to avoid going off the track. Understeered Hulkenberg, which is really pulling a gap to Hulkenberg. Don't know how much of that is his inherent pace and how much of that is the fact that Hulkenberg's probably fighting with Vern for position back there. Or it's taking a little bit of an eccentric line going through there. Curve is now available, so Bortz'z will gain back that time that he lost. Nothing changes. Everything stays the same. Hit that roll in the race. Well, that was a pretty exciting Grand Prix, it has to be said. Interesting tire strategy with the threat of rain. A few sideways moments. That first lap incident with Senna. Still 24 cars on track. Still got a full grid. Everyone on track to finish the race. Or the punt. Bortz'z catching Kovalainen by a decent rate of knots, but that doesn't surprise me. There we go. Nicely done. It's looking like unless Webber starts having to fight with somebody pretty hard, he's not going to catch him. And even if he does, it looks like points are out of the question. Bortz'z does the fastest first sector by almost 7/10 of a second, so he's definitely flying, but 2 cars ahead of him. One of them is Webber, the other one's a lapped car. So the best Bortz'z can hope for is 12th. If he somehow manages to close 10 seconds within the next 5 laps, Alonso sets the fastest time of the race with a 1:25, pretty much dead. See how Vettel responds. Whether or not Vettel's still leading in the lead, I don't know. I haven't seen his name scroll by or anyone else's besides Webber, Hulkenberg, bookending Andrew at the moment. Vettel's still in the lead. Don't know where Alonso factors in, what position he's in, so we might see a fight for the victory. Then again, we might not. Alonso was all the way back in, like P10 after that one round of stops. So, I don't quite know where Fernando is on track. Hulkenberg and Vernon switching positions back there. Definite fight on our hands for P14. I don't know if any of them is pointless, so again, this might be a token position, or this might actually count for something. For them, anyway. Alonso again going faster with a 1:24.8. If he's in second place, which I hope he is, he might take Zafinga Boy out of the equation. Gets set in times like this. I wonder if the next F1 game will simulate Vettel's incessant need for fastest laps, so if you can outpace him, he'll try and outpace you and potentially make a mistake. That would be fantastic. I'd love to see that. I would set a car for like 1 lap pace, just to troll Vettel. Hopefully knock him out, just tangentially. It's now 1 lap 50-53. The car ahead is, I think, a militia. Bortz's fastest lap, pretty much a 1.5 seconds slower than Alonso's. Slides off into the gravel there. That ain't going to do him any favors, but not a huge mistake. Not like Felipe's was. I'm still confused as to what exactly happened there. It just looked like he speared off and then tried to get back on and spun. I mean, that's what happened, but why? Maybe it's not that bad. Well, yeah. Bortz'z now 24 seconds behind Webber. Webber has a pit stop in hand. He can come in, get a fresh set of tires, get his visor cleaned, and pull the James Hunt and have sex with the flight attendant, and still come out ahead of Bortz'z. Bortz'z is told to move to fuel mix mode 2. It really doesn't matter since he's a lap down. He can afford to go a lap down on fuel. It'll be fine. It'll be okay. 3 more laps to complete, and then the Italian Grand Prix will be over. Like I said before, it's not the best Grand Prix I've ever seen from Bortz'z, but it was interesting. We had some good fights. makes you wonder what would happen if the rain came. He was forced to switch to inter tires. Bortz'z getting the blue flags now. It's a Marisha. Yep, it's peak. Bortz'z gets by it nicely. I actually lied. Just sees a lap down in the race and a lap down the field. This is his final lap. Engineer advising Bortz'z to bring the car home. It's not like he can really take any risks at all. I mean, he's in the middle of nowhere. His lapped car behind him. Worst he could do is try to set the fastest lap of the race, which isn't going to happen. Unless he's really been holding something back that I'm not aware of for the second and third sector. I think that's just more of a car thing, though. He's doing everything he can, like I said. But it's not to be. Here he goes with Lesmes for one last time. The corners where it could have got interesting. It was getting decently wet for a while, but ended up just not doing anything worth talking about. Except for now, when there's nothing else to talk about. Into Scary. Ooh. Gets a bit of a bump there going over the left-hander and almost spins it. There's Vettel crossing the line for victory. It'll be interesting to see where the rest of the field panned out. But Bortz'z, Andrew Bortz'z finishes the Italian Grand Prix in P13. 5 positions ahead of his expected position. Jenson Button only P11. Had a rough race there after being in 5th for a while. So let us see how the Grand Prix shook out. Sebastian Vettel ahead of Kimi Räikkönen, doing well, 2nd for Lotus. Nico Rosberg in 3rd. Romain Grosjean in 4th. Michael Schumacher, great recovery for him, in 5th. Maldonado in 6th from 4th on the grid. 7th for Fernando. Hamilton, DiResta, Ricciardo wrap up the points. Then it's Button, Weber, Bortz'z, Felipe Baby, Verne, Hulkenberg, Senna, Perez, Kobayashi, Peak, Kovalainen, Glock, Del Rosa, and Karthikeyan, usual suspects there in the back of the field. Actually not having a great race, it has to be said. Bortz'z still 5th in the championship, as the engineer just said. Alonso leads it from Hamilton and Rosberg. Button, Bortz'z, of course, Grosjean. Vettel, despite winning this race, hasn't been having a good year in Bortz's championship, only in P7 from Weber and Raikkonen, Schumacher, Kobayashi, Perez, Maldonado, Verne, Hulkenberg, Massa, DiResta, Ricciardo, Senna, and then the usual suspects. McLaren, from a combined effort, still lead the Constructors' Championship from Ferrari by 43 points. And that's the end of that. So high fives and congratulations all the way. I hope you guys enjoyed this solo commentary. It's not going to be a regular thing, but I was, as I said, somewhat drunk and figured, why the hell not? I might as well have a little fun. And with that, I am going to go to bed. I will see you guys later. Peace out.